How you doing there, folks? Stephen McCracken here. We're down tonight in a very wet Kelswater Presbyterian Church between Ballymena and Antrim. Back in 1700s, it was on the main road to Antrim town. Now, 1798, this area here, it rose, but the leader of this area was a man called Samuel Parker. Night before the Battle of Antrim, he received his orders from Henry J. McCracken, and what did he do? He gave him over to the local yeomanry. So at that point, on the 7th morning, they were leaderless. Didn't know what to do. So they gathered up at the crossing of the the Kelswater River, and they met two magistrates going to the big meeting that was to be held in Antrim town, and the Dunseverick cavalry who were with them, taking them over. So over here in Kelswater, we have a very notorious minister who grew up here, went to this church. He didn't minister here until the second half of his ministry, but he did come back and forth throughout. Maybe Gavin, you could talk a wee bit about him there.
Yeah, so the Reverend William Staveley was a Presbyterian minister, and he was born in 1743. Now, as you said, he grew up with William Moore. He was ordained in 1772 at Clonleague in County Down, and he went to Glasgow to study theology. He was from a family of clergy, so it was probably only right that he would go into it himself.
His grandad was minister in Antrim town, Reformed.
That's right. And he was a very God-fearing man, and so had a sense of duty to sort of preach the word of God to the local countrymen. And so he's very renowned for having firebrand type sermons. He would have had a huge charisma, very charismatic, because it would have been very captivating, his sermons as well, because he had huge gatherings and he commanded respect and was very, very popular amongst his parishioners.
So we're just going to go over here to see his grave. It's just the side of the church here. And what happened to him during 1798? Gavin, what was his rule?
During 1798's rebellion, it was rumoured that he was a United Irishman sympathiser. For this year, he was imprisoned, his house was burnt down, and while he was in prison, he was very harshly treated as well amongst the prisoners and the guards. He was on a prison ship that was on Belfast Lough, and it's rumoured that his family would sort of stand on the shore with a white flag to know that everything was okay. And during his captivity, he had a son called Joseph, who sort of was born and died whilst he was in captivity.
Okay, and he grew up with William Moore, didn't he?
That's right.
His farmstead just backed onto his.
That's
Williams.
Right. And he was present at William Moore's execution, and I think this had a very profound effect on him as well, judging by the accounts I've read, because he was a family friend and because he did grow up with William Moore.
As you see, there's John R. Joinery redone up the church in 1806. William Moore's uncle, I believe, who owned the Creavery blacksmith, which played a huge part in the Battle of Antrim in making pikes for the area. That's really it, I think. Isn't it, Gavin? I don't think there's anything else.
Oh, I think that might be it. Yeah. So he died in 1825. 7th of May, 1825.
And he preached here from 1813 till his death.
That's right. Yeah.
I think 20 years later, so something like that there. Lovely setting, and you have the river just behind that haze there. And on up, about half a mile on up there, you have the Kelswater Bridge. The bridge itself was only built in probably 1815, I believe it was, but before that there was a fjord. Okay, thank you. Bye. So if anybody wants to actually come to Kelswater Reformed Presbyterian Church, there's your times. Okay, thank you. How you doing? From Kelswater Presbyterian Reformed Presbyterian Church, we've just come up to Kells Church of Ireland Church, overlooking the town of Kells and Connor. Now in here is the graves belonging to the Parker family. This is probably one of the most ornate graves you'll ever see, dating back to the early 1700s. Family of Samuel Parker. Now Samuel Parker is a man who was meant to lead the Kells column into Antrim on the 7th of June. Now he met his end the day after the Battle of Antrim when a man called James Dickey came and stabbed him on his doorstep. James Dickey is the one who orchestrated the Battle of Branalstown. It's a very picturesque church, many old graves. These are the graves of the Parker family. Now James Dickey, he was hung in Cornmarket with Henry Joy McCracken and John Story. Hey there folks, we're just going to stay in Kells, Church of Ireland for the meantime. In here, along with Parker's, is Henderson's, but at the meantime can't actually find the grave. But one of Gavin McLaughlin's relatives, well, many of his relatives are buried in here. But one who has a direct link to the Battle of Antrim is a man who left Northern Ireland to go to New Zealand. And Gavin's just going to tell us a wee bit about him. How you going?
Well, just here we are at St Saviour's Church in Kells, and as Stephen mentioned in his book, a 2-year-old Samuel Henderson would have saw the United Irishmen leave Donegal. Well, in my family tree, I've done a bit of researching quite recently, and it turns out this gentleman is my 3 times great grandfather, and he married a lady called Elizabeth Girvan, and there's both of them are supposed to be buried in here somewhere, so I believe, but the closest I can't find it at the moment. But what I find is the Girvan family headstone. I'm not 100% sure if that's connected just yet, but that is a family name, and connected to Samuel is a gentleman called Peter Henderson, whose family, part of the Henderson family, immigrated to New Zealand, and they actually went on to play for the All Blacks. He won 6 caps. He also played rugby league, and he came back to England, played for Huddersfield, and played in the 1953 Rugby League Cup final against St Helens. I believe Huddersfield won that one actually, and he also got a medal in the Commonwealth Games, which back then was actually called the Empire Games, in the relay, so I believe. So I believe that some of my family members are buried in here somewhere, and I'm just going to have a look around, see if I can find them. Yeah.
Back then, the Church of Ireland was obliged to bury everybody. So no matter what religion you were, you had a space in the Church of Ireland graveyard. It was the national church. Okay, thank you.